Hiya, this is Colin. I'm just had the session there with a beautiful group of people asking lots of questions, really lively, brilliant. But I thought instead of trying to edit all of that, it was wonderful. I'll just give you some of the highlights. So today we've been discussing uh, reminders and triggers and routines to get you into the challenge, but also a couple of the myths, another couple of myths about meditation that might be stopping you from really getting into it, and another couple of tips and hints as well. So here goes. The First of all, the reminders. It's really, really important to remember to connect with the breath, especially at first, because this is a new habit you're creating, and it's a little bit. It's not something you normally do, so we want to remind ourselves. So any images, say on your computer, stick some images on your computer. Stick stickers around the place, just little tiny little stickers, little dots, maybe a different color. Now, those don't work long term because you become blind to them after a while, but they will work for this week. Big list of all the things you just do automatically every single day, all your routines, and then tell yourself that every single one of those routines is a chance for you to connect with the breath. So basically, every routine that you go into, you connect to your breath at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. And at first, a lot of those routines is going to be at the end that you might remember. But the intention is every time I have my breakfast, every time I eat something, I'm going to connect with the breath. Every time I get into my car, I'm going to connect with the breath. So this really builds it up. And 20 a day is going to be really easy. You'll do that within the first few hours. And then it's a case of keep on going. Things like, yeah, all notifications on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop, every notification becomes a, a signal to you to connect with the breath for one breath. And we've already talked about exclusivity, so you can be typing away and still connecting with the breath. You're going to be accumulating so many gold stars. We're all going to be in the hundreds of gold stars by the end of the week. That's brilliant. I'd just like to say that yesterday I was saying uh, this is how you meditate. And I just want to say now that one of the myths that there is out there is that there's one type of meditation. And this is maybe this is what you've got, and you're saying, well, what Colin's teaching is not meditation because I know what meditation is. And the fact is, there's many types of meditation, and there's, well, actually, it's never ending. The number of meditations there are and types of meditation there are, it's huge. So this is the beginning of your exploration. And if it's not the beginning of your exploration, then it's getting you rekindled back into the exploration, back into meditation. And this is a wonderful place to start with the one breath meditation. And I'll also say that we don't stop at where I was saying, oh yes, you just connect with wherever it is on the breath that you notice it. If you're already there and you're a little bit more advanced, then what you can be doing is connecting more with the breath. So what I mean by that is noticing more things about the breath. So if you're already, for instance, connecting with the cooler air going into the nostrils and the warmer air coming out, then you could, for instance, check for pressure. Is there any pressure involved with the air going in and the air going out of my nostrils? What kind of pressure? So we're connecting more with the breath. And we're doing this without pushing, without forcing, without trying to control. But your intention is to notice more. And one of the things that help you with that is interest, being really curious and interested in those sensations. And this really helps you to deepen your meditation, your single pointed focus on the breath, and takes you to deeper levels, churns up deeper levels of stress so it can be released. And I will say that when it is released, even the deeper levels, it's not as if you really you're involved in it. It's actually just a shadow. It's just like a bubble bursting, and it's a little shadow, and it's gone. So you may feel tiny bits of angst, tiny bits of things going on, but most of the time, you'll actually just feel better. You just feel more relaxed. This being interested in the sensations at the nostrils, for instance, or the sensations wherever it is that you're focusing on. This is a part of the beginner's mind, being able to be open to new things, new experiences. And it takes a bit of courage to do that, especially if you think, oh, I'm going to release some stress and there might be something in there. Well, most of the time there isn't. And when there is, it's very, very gentle. And another thing that comes along with the beginner's mind is gentleness, being gentle towards yourself, especially with something like this, a challenge, which when it's challenging, we often people feel the need to beat themselves up and, you know, I must do this, I must do this. And we think we're trying to be, we're being positive, but actually uh, the better way is to be gentle. This is the way of meditation, at least, to be gentle on yourself. And to be gentle on yourself partly comes into play by accepting that you're not there yet. You're just a beginner, so it's okay to not have done dozens of gold stars on the first day. It's okay to not quite get the meditation right, even though I've given you good instructions. The mind gets in the way. The mind comes up with all sorts of things, and that's okay. And accepting that the mind does that, the mind will try and get in the way. It's trying to be helpful. The analogy that I often use is to imagine that you have a mad old auntie or uncle, and this person, the beautiful person, that they really love you, and you love them, uh, but because they're mad, their advice is generally bonkers. And this is and this is actually like the mind. The mind is more of a like a computer. It hasn't got all the information, and when stress comes involved, for instance, the mind has not got the tools to be able to deal with stress. So its advice comes from the past, comes from beliefs from the past, comes from all your traumas and everything else, and is generally bonkers. So what do? Do you argue with your mind? You get into this argument? What I would suggest, the gentle way, is to say something like, and this is the same as what you would do with your auntie or your uncle. Thank you for sharing. Now you try not to do it in a really patronizing way, but you're acknowledging that they're trying to help, but then you're completely ignoring their advice. And that's what you do with your mind. You say, thank you for sharing, and you do the breath meditation anyway. And before I go, I would like to just mention another myth, which is that meditation is about emptying your mind. Now, it may happen as part of the process of meditation that your mind becomes calmer, and therefore There is not so many thoughts rattling through there. However, it's not an objective of meditation to empty your mind. You're not trying to empty your mind. This is sort of similar to the exclusivity myth, in that you're getting rid of everything except one thing, and this thing is emptiness, or emptying your mind, going blank. Now, like I say, it can happen very occasionally, but most of the time there's going to be thoughts in there, and we're just ignoring them. That's all. Thank you for sharing. I'm getting back to the breath. And we're being very curious and interested in the breath, which then has us have more focus on the breath than we have on the thoughts. And if the thoughts are there, then that's fine. But we want to have our intention being to be focused on the breath for at least one breath, and then maybe another one, and then maybe another one. And what you may find that after a few, then the mind starts to calm down. It stops bothering you so much as you're focusing in on the breath, nice and gently. You're not being rigid with it. So I really hope this has been helpful. I would love to speak to you at the next session. So, but for now, don't forget to collect your gold stars and let us know how you're getting on, and if you've got any questions. And I can, of course, reply to those questions. Even if you can't make it to the Zoom session, I can maybe reply in writing, but also on the next video. Yay!